Love comes in unexpected ways and forms, even if you are antisocial. So here are 10 romance anime where the antisocial guy finds love. Let's go!
Kami 触ってみたくて。なんかこういう人の感触わかんなかったから今まで。
触ってたじゃん。キスだって何度かしてるし。
Hikari Tsutsui is your classic otaku. He spends most of his time playing games and watching shows while dealing with constant teasing at school. His only buddy, Yuto, is just as into the geeky stuff, making them both kind of outcasts. One day, when Hikari gets stuck cleaning the pool, he meets Iroha Igarashi, a blunt girl who's got a tough reputation. Even though he's worried about her causing trouble, he soon realizes she's the same as him.
せっかく来たのにこんなのしか乗れなくて。
なんですごく楽しいよ。
Yes, this might not be a groundbreaking romance anime, but what makes 3D Kanojo stand out isn't just the typical nerd meets bad girl story. It's how people with a common problem slowly open to each other, and how people sometimes wear a mask to disguise who they really are. Watching our antisocial boy mess up social stuff and keep trying is both funny and easy to relate to. Iroha is more than just tough on the outside too. She's tired of fake attention and wants some good old love, making her the perfect girl for our guy.
私は友達と話していただけだ。エア友達と。
Kuraka Hasegawa moves to a new school hoping to make some friends, but his tough look and blonde hair quickly gets him labeled as a troublemaker. He feels alone and annoyed until he meets Uzora Mikazuki, a girl who talks to an invisible friend. They realize they have the same buddy issues, so they decide to form a club. Soon, they're joined by an even weirder Sena Kashiwazaki and kickstart a really awkward club.
どんな目を作ったんだ？
隣人部だ。
I remember watching this first when I first got into anime and thinking, what the heck is this? But that's also what made it good. There's a ton of weirdos, a main girl who reminds you of Yukino Shita from Origairu, and even some parodies of the otaku culture. What makes Haganai really fun is how it shows the messiness of trying to make friends when you're awkward. I heard the light novel of this anime had a pretty controversial ending, but in this day and age, every piece of fiction has a controversial ending, so who are you to complain?
佐藤くん、私なら助けてあげられるよ。
Tatsuhiro Sato is that typical guy who dropped out of college and hasn't left his apartment for almost 4 years. He's convinced a secret group called the Nihon Hikomori Koyokai, aka the NHK, is the reason he's stuck inside. He gets deep into crazy conspiracy ideas while also dealing with his own messy problems. Then Misaki Nakahara shows up and gives him a small chance to change. But for that to happen, my man's gotta go outside and touch some grass.
また会おうね。ニュースに出るようなことはやっちゃダメだよ。
I saw one review that said watching this anime feels like reading through the confusing mess of real life, and even though that review sounds way too literary for my taste, I kind of agree with that guy. It's funny in a weird way and it hits close to home because it shows how loneliness, fear, and little wins you have in moments like this all mixed together. The show doesn't have a super focused romance story, but when there are moments, it feels really wholesome.
ご契約ありがとうございます、神様。さあ参りましょう。かけたまがりへ。
Keima Katsuragi, also known as the God of Conquest, is a pro at winning in dating games, but not so great with real people. Instead, he's hooked on virtual girls where he never loses. Then a clumsy demon named Elise drags him into a crazy mission: find and catch spirits hiding inside actual girls' hearts. To do that, Keima has to use his gaming skills to deal with real girls, and real girls don't have the same emotions as 2D girls.
明日も応援来てくれる？
This anime is awesome because it mixes otaku life with the messiness of real emotions and does it with a really interesting main character. Kehan is pretty much the reason a lot of people watch this show. The guy stands out far better than your average horror main character. The show also balances silly moments with surprisingly serious ones, and Elsie's goofiness keeps things light and fun when Kehan's seriousness gets way too serious.
紹介するね。私の新しい彼氏。
違います。
お願いします。武士の情けでどうか話を合わせていただけないでしょうか。
Akane Kinoshita just broke up and jumps back into Forest of Savior, the game she used to play with her ex. She comes up with a plan to get back at him at a real-life event, but things get tricky when she runs into Kido Yamada, a gaming legend who hates being around people offline but kills it online. Akane pulls him into her plan and then they team up for quests and have to deal with her ex. Things start to get awkward.
グーですね、たくま。そっちもデートなの？
あれ、茜じゃん。いたの？
いたわよ、ずっとね。
Yeah, you saw that right. Shoujo anime can have antisocial nerds too. You've seen lots of rom-coms. Yamada-kun at level 999 feels different because it avoids the usual cheesy stuff. Akane and Yamada click because their weird habits make sense. The shy but good-looking gamer and the upbeat girl who's both mature and a little fragile. The friends around them bring funny and chaotic moments, and overall Madhouse did a great job making the show funny and heartfelt.
あなたみたいな人生を負けたまま放棄している最低の人間が私が唯一尊敬していたあの名無しだったなんて。
なんで俺がそこまで言われなきゃ。
Fumiya Tomozaki is amazing at the online game TACFam, but in real life, he's pretty much a total mess. Talking to people, he has no clue how to do it. Friends, not a single one. He thinks life is unfair and feels like he's stuck at the bottom level. Then, out of nowhere, he meets Aoi Hinami, a top TACFam player who's super popular, confident, and the complete opposite of him. She offers to help him update his social skills and play the game called Life.
さて、今日からあなたは人生というゲームのプレイヤーとなるわけだけど、どんなゲームにも目標というものがあるわよね。
I loved the whole gamification of life concept, and it's much better than the average Fix the Shy Guy story. There are lots of funny and weird moments mixed in, but also some real-life struggles around making friends, getting accepted, and finding your place at talents in high school life. I kind of shit Tomozaki and Aoi, but at this point I don't know how to go because suddenly half the girls in the class seem to like him.
お待たせ。着替え終わったよ。
別に待ってないぞ。
どう？似合う？
露出しすぎだ。
はあ、釣れないな。
Yuji Kazami moves to Mihama Academy, thinking it'll be a normal school year. Nope. The school's basically empty with only 5 girls and the principal around. Each girl has some serious stuff going on in her past, so making friends isn't easy. Mihama Academy feels like a safe spot for these girls, and Yuji ends up playing the big brother trying to help them, and himself get through all their tough pasts.
で、さっきの質問だが、なぜ脱色する？この髪型も普段あまり見慣れないもののようだが。
I started watching expecting just another typical high school show, but it's way deeper, way more darker, and the more you watch, the darker it gets. The story handles big issues like trauma and hard times, but doesn't get depressing because it still has these funny and awkward moments. Yuji is the MVP here because this guy has raised a soldier, so has the personality of a soldier. So no more blushing and shushing just because a girl is 1 meter near him.
ほら、行ってみて。
ひど、それはないでしょ。
ノリ悪い。
Jota Shirashi is basically the invisible guy at school, so quiet and unnoticed that even teachers forget he's around. People say spotting him brings good luck, but no one really cares. That all changes when Nagisa Kubo, who sits next to him, decides to pull him out of his shell. She drags him into weird and crazy situations, shaking up Junta's plain old high school days and pushing him towards the kind of life he's secretly wanted.
もっと近づいて。
近い。
もうちょっとかな。
What really hooked me to this anime is how it shows the awkwardness of feeling like nobody sees you, but still wanting to be noticed. Junta's quiet background character style felt super familiar, and Kubo's non-stop teasing was hilarious. I know this show sounds like a reversed version of Komi Can't Communicate, but somewhere during the middle of the show finds its own 2 feet.
お、コロッケもある。手作りか。
そうです。レンジで温め直して食べてください。
サンキューな。まあでも
たまには出来たて食べてみたいよな。
My hero Sheena is like the perfect girl everyone looks up to. Top of her class, great at sports, and super pretty. On the flip side, her neighbor Amane Fujimiya is a quiet, kinda awkward guy who mostly keeps to himself. One rainy day, Amane leads Mahiru his umbrella, and when Mahiru comes to return it and sees his apartment, she decides to be his personal maid to fix his life.
すみません。
別にいいから、怪我人放って帰ったり歩かせたりするほど男は慕ってないから。
The show really gets that slow, awkward, wholesome, needs a box of chocolates feeling just right. Amane's awkwardness isn't just about being shy. It shows through how unorganized his life is, and Mahiru's care helps him get back on track. Mahiru isn't just some perfect girl either. Her little jealous moments and past add depth to her character. Season 2's coming out this year, and I am hyped. We seriously need more wholesome and sweet anime like this.
写真撮っていいかな。
いいよ、貸して。
貸す。お。
ほら。
Koyotaro Ichikawa seems like a shy middle school kid, but inside he's got this intense fantasy about taking down his classmate Anna Yamada. But then they keep bumping into each other in the library and things change. Anna isn't the perfect, cool girl everyone thinks she is. She's actually kind of clueless and always messing up social cues. Spending time with her makes Koyotaro's urge to take her out fade and switching to wanting to look out for her.
水着だ。ね。はい。今日はプールないよな。
I've already recommended this anime plenty of times. I know the psychopath light Yagami premise might kick you off, but this is actually one of the most wholesome shows I've watched. What grabbed me was how Koyotaro's loud, edgy act actually hides a smart and thoughtful guy who changes pretty naturally. Seeing him go from an awkward kid to someone who actually falls in love is super wholesome. 2 seasons are out and a movie's coming out, so now's the perfect time to give this one a go.